Hello and welcome to Matt's Garage. This is part 4 of my series on basic shaker tables. As you can see here, I've started to do glue up on the tabletop. If you recall from last time, we spent a little bit of time uh, using the doweling jig to make sure that we had nice alignment on all of our dowel holes that are going to be used to glue up the top. And I glued up one piece last night. If you recall, the top is made out of two pieces of cherry. Here's one of the cherries and a little piece of walnut. The glue up went very nicely. So what I'm going to do today is get this out of the clamps and then walk you through how I do a glue up in general. So you'll be able to see me take the last piece of cherry, the other piece of cherry, uh, get all the glue on, get the dowels in, get it in the clamps. So let's get started. All right. So I've got everything ready for the next part of the glue up. And like any other project in the shop, you need the right tools to do this right. In my case, a number of clamps. I also have my Tight Bond 2 in a glue bottle. Glue bottle is very, very handy, so you should get one of these. I have a little roller, which helps to spread the glue evenly on the flat surfaces. And then I have a glue brush, which still has a little glue on it from last night. Uh, I use this primarily to do a little touch up and to get glue on the dowels. So let's get going. All right, so I've got the boards where I want them. They're nice and lined up. Um, Another tool that I should mention is I do have a hammer here, and I have a small block of scrap cherry. That's just to persuade the boards to go together if there's any issues. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to uh, get glue on the parallel surfaces. I'm not actually going to put any glue into the holes as I draw a glue bead along. Some of it will drop into the holes. Um, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the dowels themselves. One thing about these glue ups, it's easy to think you need a lot of glue. You really don't need that much. You need enough glue that when you put reasonable clamping pressure on, you get a little bit of squeeze out, um, and that's about it. One tool I forgot, I'm going to walk back this way and you're going to see me get a tool, is I need a few pieces of shop towel. So I got some shop towel here. And you also notice a little plastic cup. There's a little water in there. And that is going to be used to wet a paper towel and get the squeeze out. All right, let's go. We're committed now. Once I start this process, there is no stopping. I have to just go through it quickly. I'm going to do my best to talk over it. I'm going to put a little pile of glue on here. That's going to be used for me to get the dowels hit with a little bit of glue. Here we go. Trying to use a little less glue than I did last night for the other glue up. I had a lot of squeeze out last night, and that was really because I just went a little overboard. So I don't want to go too overboard this time. Just enough. All right, now I'm going to come back with the roller. I actually like to start in the middle, work my way towards the end, and then grab the end and come back towards the middle. It's hard to see, but I'm getting a nice layer there. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I'm going to do the same on the piece of cherry. Okay, I like how that is feeling. I'm just going to, just really paint the end of a dowel I'm going to poke it in. I'm not going to hammer it in yet. I'm just going to get them all painted. And then in no particular order. For some reason, I started at the middle and I'm alternating, working in and out. Just a little paint job. Might look like I'm doing a lot here, but I'm really mostly just wiping it off more than wiping it on. All right, so that I like. Now I'm going to come by with the hammer. And you could hear, right, when you hear that harder sound, it's in. That's in. That's in. Those are all in. All right. Now I'm just going to come around to each of the dowels and do just a quick paint. Nothing fancy. Again, there's plenty of glue laying around this glue up that just a little bit of paint of glue on the dowels is going to be fine. Doesn't have to be too much. Hard for you to see my motion, but I'm 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then on to the next one. I just dab it in my glue pile. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. That's it for the glue. So now we're going to get the two pieces mated together. This is the orientation. You can sort of see my drawing lines on here. So I'm just going to do my best to feel that first dowel on one end, feel the dowel on this end. I feel everything. It feels good. We're going to just carefully get this in. Ah, there it is. That's what I wanted. And now we're going to use the cherry block. I'm just going to gentle tap. All the way around until we get everything in. It does tend to want to get away from you a little bit. You should be seeing a little squeeze out now. I'm certainly seeing some on this end. I'm going to pause and see just visually how I'm looking. It's looking pretty good. It's looking like it's almost fully seated. Just going to give it a couple more taps in the neighborhood of the dowels. I can see where the dowels are, plus I approximately remember where they are. I can see because there's a little extra glue squeeze out in those areas. Now, without worrying about things like, do I have any newspaper stuck to the glue out, I'm going to start getting clamps in. Probably should have had this clamp out and ready before. I'm just going to use these two inexpensive Harbor Freight parallel clamps on the ends. You may or may not notice on these particular clamps is that I do have a piece of blue painter's tape on the faces. I'm liking that. And I like to come right up to the edge. Make sure I pull those edges in. I'm just doing it until I see that gap fully close up. And I get the squeeze out that I want. I'm liking what I see there. And here I just sped up the video a little bit. I'm just putting the Harbor Freight clamps on approximately where I know each of the dowels to be. A little boring watching that, so I decided speeding it up was probably the right thing to do. That could be a little tighter. I might use a slightly different clamp on that end. That's looking pretty good there. Let me see what else I've got here in the clamp department. Back in the clamp department, folks. All right, that's tightening up. I'm getting reasonably good squeeze here. Yeah, are there other better clamping solutions? Definitely. Do I have them? No, not at this point. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get a little bit of squeeze out off. I actually use the flat sort of screwdriver looking end of my glue brush for that purpose. And I just sort of wipe it on my glue block there. Once the glue is at this level of setup, it comes off pretty nicely. And then you can come along with a damp paper towel and get the rest cleaned up. I don't take off too much at a time. When you try to take off too much at a time, you wind up spreading it, which is really not what you want to do. So now I'm going to grab one of my pieces of shop towel. Probably a little too much water there. And we're just going to get in there. It really doesn't matter that you're putting water on your wood. In fact, one of my steps of finishing this piece of wood, which you'll see later in the series, is I actually do what's called wetting down the wood. I will wet it down just like this with a cloth or a shop towel. And what that does is it raises the grain. And when you raise the grain, you allow that grain to be easily sanded off. All right, so we've got nice squeeze out on this end. A little bit more challenging to get the squeeze out over here. If anybody knows of a better way to do that before I get my clamps in, I'd appreciate it. But I'm going to do my best to get this squeeze out of here. I'm going to use my old towel to get most of this off. You see, I can get under the F clamps bar, but I can't get under these parallel clamps bar. That's okay. I'm just going to temporarily pop them off, and I'll get that squeeze out. Oh, it's just a tiny bit of squeeze out there. Nothing to write home about, as they say. That is pretty good. Do the same on this end. And another little section here that I sped up. Just me going under the end parallel clamps and getting the remaining squeeze out. Slightly tedious process, but not too bad. Beautiful. It is about 16 and an eighth. I think I mentioned I wanted the final dimension to be 16. 16 and an eighth is fine. I can certainly come back either on the table saw or with the track saw to get this down to absolute final size. But I'm liking the way it looks. I know that was a little intense, but glue ups can be like that. You just have to work really fast. Got good squeeze out. I'm seeing the joint looks good everywhere. Importantly, the size measurement is the same on both ends. I didn't check the middle. I suppose I should. 12 feet. No, it's 16 and an eighth as well. So that means we've got a nice looking tabletop. We're just going to let this sit in the clamps. I overdo it like the last glue up that you saw that we started the video with. That I had done last night at around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it actually sat for 12 hours overnight. I'll probably do the same with this one. It's it's morning right now. It's about between 7 and 8 in the morning. So I won't come back to this until 7 or 8 tonight. We're just really going to let it sit up. All right, that's the end of our glue up phase. Next time, we're really going to be in the final stages of putting the table together, including getting the top trimmed and starting to get some finish on. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm finding a lot of good comments, and we're starting to grow this channel, which is just fantastic. That means that you out there are getting some value out of it. All right, we'll see you next time.